My name is Dr. Emily Kisor, and I am a pediatrician at Beacon Medical Group, Pediatrics, Bristol Street. So we understand that making decisions about vaccinations for your children can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information out there, there are a lot of opinions, and we know you just want to do what you feel is best for your children to keep them safe. So I often have a lot of parents ask me and are concerned that we're giving vaccines too young, that it might overwhelm their systems. But the truth is, infants are when we really need to give vaccines the most. And that's because the infants are the most vulnerable. They have an immune system that isn't strong enough, it's immature, and not only are they more likely to get the illnesses, but they are more likely to get complications from sicknesses. So they could be more severely sick, they could end up in the hospital, so they are kind of our top priority for protection. So thankfully we have vaccines in infancy that can help protect kids from measles, from meningitis, from pneumonia, and from things like pertussis or whooping cough. So we use vaccines to teach the immune system how to fight off germs. So we are giving the vaccines to help your baby actually create their own natural defenses against the illnesses. We give vaccines to help to teach our children's immune systems how to defend themselves. So we're hoping to build up a natural defense against illnesses. So what we actually do is we give small pieces of inactivated or weakened forms of the sickness to the infants, so then their body can recognize it and then they can start to create a defense. So that when they actually see the real sickness, they're able to fight it off much more easily and to protect themselves. So actually we do this for a lot of things for children, right? So for example, we're going to teach our children to swim in a pool or a baby pool with a floaty right before we decide to toss them in the ocean. So what we're doing with vaccines is in a controlled, safe way, we're giving them small amounts and when they're teaching them what to do so that by the time they see the sickness, their body is ready to go and able to protect and defend themselves. The vaccine schedule that we have is based on decades of research. So we know that it's safe and we know that it will protect our children the best that we can. The childhood vaccination schedule is also based on developmental milestones. So we take into consideration what pathogens, what sicknesses our infants and children might be exposed to. So if we think about when your children start to crawl or when they start to eat food or walk, we're exposed to different sicknesses. And so we keep that in mind with our timeline when we're choosing to vaccinate our babies so that all through those milestones, we're protecting them as well. Then I often have people who ask me, okay, can we just wait a couple months or maybe a year before we start giving vaccines? But again, the truth is it's much, much better to give these vaccines before they are exposed to the pathogens. Because if we're leaving that time, that gap when they're not protected, when they're most vulnerable, we're taking a chance that that's the time that they could get sick. And we never know when we're going to come into contact with those germs, right? We can do our best to protect them, keep them as safe as possible, be helicopter parents, but we can't control it, right? You're going to be exposed at the grocery store, when you go to church, when you go to family gatherings, daycare. All of those exposures are out of our control. And so vaccines are a piece that we can control and that we can use to protect our children. So let's walk through a specific example, if that's okay. So if we think about the Hib vaccine. So Hib we give at 2, 4, and 6 months usually. And what it stands for is Haemophilus influenza B. And this is a bacteria that often lives in the nose, in the nasopharynx. And it can colonize that area. And so we know that by 1 year old, about 20% of infants are already colonized with that bacteria. And then by the time they're 5 years old, more than half of children already have that colonization. So the bacteria lives here, it's just waiting, and it can stay there for months. And then if we have a stressor or we have a sickness, it can cause that bacteria living there to invade the body. And then it can cause really serious sicknesses. So it can get into the fluid around the brain and cause meningitis. It can cause pneumonia. It can get into the blood and cause bacteremia. But it's amazing that we now have this vaccine that can help protect against that invasion because we know we're at high risk with it already living in our system. So it's amazing, like I said, to have this opportunity to be able to give it to our kids to protect them the best that we can. And then I have parents who ask me, well, doesn't my baby have immunity from the mom? Isn't that going to protect them? Won't that keep them safe for a while? And the truth is we don't know exactly how much of the mother's antibodies are able to go to the baby. And it also depends on the mom's immunity. So if mom wasn't vaccinated or she didn't see certain illnesses in her life, she's not going to have the defense. And so then she's not going to have it to be able to pass it on to the babies. And so we're kind of taking a chance if we feel like we're just going to rely on mom's immune system. And we also know that mom's immunity passed to babies fades pretty quickly. So it starts to fade around 6 months and is pretty much completely gone by 12 months. So again, that's a high period of vulnerability that we're taking a chance if we're not sure what mom's immune system is. And then, breastfeeding is also an awesome, version of protection, but this is often more for like common colds and things that the mom may be actively fighting off, and then she can pass antibodies through it. So that's kind of another chance that we're taking too, to just rely on breast milk. But still, an amazing protection, but not the only protection that we should be providing. So when we choose to vaccinate our infants and our children, we're not just protecting our own children and our families, but also our community. We're helping to build a wall, we're helping to build a shield that helps protect the kids in our community. Because not all babies are old enough to get vaccines yet, or they're just not able to get them because of their potential immune systems, or if they're undergoing certain treatment or testing or things. So if we can use that protection and provide it for our own children, it can help protect our community as well. And that way we can help prevent spread too. We can help prevent measles or whooping cough from spreading in our daycares and our schools if we have more built-in safe gates. In summary, vaccinating your children at a young age is of vital importance in keeping them healthy and keeping them safe. It also helps to optimize their immunity and build lasting immunity for their lifetime. It helps to minimize side effects, and it helps to prevent spread and to follow their developmental milestones. But again, I know this is overwhelming. I know it's scary. It's a big decision to be made, and that's why we're here to help. We're here to help sift through all of the information that is available. And I believe that it's a privilege and a gift to have these vaccines to be able to give to our children. It's not just about following a vaccine schedule. It's about maximizing our child's healthy life. If you have any further concerns or questions, we recommend that you contact your Beacon provider.